You know, a young man asked me, why did you decide to become a lawyer? And it forced me to think, right? I've been doing this a long time now, about 26 years. Um, but it forced me to think about why I do what I do, right? And if I'm honest, I became a lawyer because I don't like bullies. I don't like people who abuse and misuse their authority and prey on people who are powerless or have less strength than them. I despise bullies. It makes me think about, growing up in a small town in the South, and I was 16 years old, and I was arrested, right? The first and only time. And I was doing nothing wrong. It was clearly a false arrest, but it was an officer who was breaking up a party full of teenagers who didn't have guns, didn't have drugs. They were just having a good time, but they thought that they could do whatever they wanted to do and there'd be nothing done about it, right? There'd be no recourse. There would be no one to challenge them. And I remember sitting in the back of that police car in handcuffs and being teased and taunted by a grown man. I was 16 years old. And I remember being at the police station and him asking me if I was in a gang and, all of these other sorts of ridiculous questions. And I remember thinking that this just isn't right. And I left that situation, right? I survived it, I got past it, but I left that situation thinking that one day I want to be the person that stands up to these people. I want to be the person that young man that I was at 16 needed. That's why I became a lawyer. And so, if you're faced with injustice, if there are things that you see that aren't right, things that bother you about society, don't just talk about it, be about it.